Okay. Thank you, guys. Well, first of all, let me just say thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be here. And I come here because I do firmly believe that the next great idea is in somebody's head in this room. And also, I've seen Sylvain from France. And so I would love, to the extent that I can be helpful in helping you guys down that path, I'd love to sort of share anything that I know that can help. Right now, what I wanted to do was actually not, I was going to give you a quick background on who I am, and then see what questions you guys had, but then have a quick break for lunch, and when we come back, I might address some of the key issues that I hear. Does that make sense? So my name's Ravi. I am the, oh, sorry, this is an old presentation, but I just put it up in case we wanted to talk about stuff. So first off, I wear a couple hats, one of which is that Persona was through an accelerator that I ran called Alchemist. And really, it's an honor to have, the real guys that you should be talking to are the founders that are actually living and breathing what you guys are doing, which Persona is. And so that experience is gold. Alchemist is an accelerator that's focused on enterprise startups. And I guess I didn't put, it's ALCHEMIST, alchemistaccelerator.com. Do I have it up in here? We can put, I'll put that up one. That might work. OK, so there we go. OK. And then I also wear a hat where I teach at Stanford. So I teach entrepreneurship in the engineering school at the Berkeley of the Peninsula, at the junior college down there. But love Berkeley. I love Berkeley. So I funded multiple Berkeley founders and have been on multiple Berkeley boards. And the co-founder with me with Alchemist is also a Berkeleyite. So lots of, my blood bleeds cardinal, but it also has some blue and gold in it too. So that's my background. So before Alchemist, I had been a product manager at 2 venture-funded startups, 2 Kleiner-funded enterprise startups. And then I also worked in venture capital. I worked at Draper Fisher Jurvetson for 6 years. At DFJ, we funded companies like Skype and Baidu and Tesla and SpaceX. We were the first institutional investors in. And I was fortunate to fund many companies early that will hopefully go public this year. So we can talk about a lot. And there is, this is sort of a fire hose of information that is being put forth to you guys. And I'm happy to give you guys a presentation on a perspective on anything. We can do a presentation on fundraising, but really Persona nailed it. Or we can go and talk about accelerators. We can talk about trends and how to build big companies. What I would say is that the mission that Alchemist has, which might be a little bit different than what other people will be talking about, is that we're we're a different type of accelerator because we're focused on companies that monetize from enterprises. And so we're heavily focused on thinking about your sales and your go-to-market strategy, and as opposed to consumer companies. And so that's a lot of what we focus on and do. But given that, what I wanted to do rather than drone on was find out what questions were in your head that were really of top of mind, especially sort of the hair on fire, burning need questions, and then to shape an agenda around that. So, and we'll get back to this after lunch, and I'll let you guys break for lunch in a bit. But I first want to see what questions you guys had. So given that background, are there any key things that you guys want to discuss or ask? Yes. OK, that's a great question. So it's on sales channels and whether to partner or whether to partner with channels. Yeah. Oh. Oh, I can repeat it. Is this being recorded, or should I? Yes, it is being recorded. OK. So the question was on sales channels. Was on how do you think about direct sales versus partnering with the channel, a consulting-driven channel, and what are the trade-offs? Not great. That's great. Yeah.
Attractive to an accelerator.
Oh, okay. That's a good question. Yes.
You have talked about like you were working in DFJ and then like you're building your own accelerators. Can you talk about the difference between these two?
Oh, between venture capital and accelerators, DFJ and
yeah, in terms of like helps with the startups.
how it what?
In terms of like how they
how they help startups. Okay.
Yeah.
VCs versus accelerators and startups. Great. Yeah.
If you have some extra time, maybe you could also talk about how you start an accelerator and the difficulties that are, in that.
Ah, okay, interesting. Okay, that'll be fun. Okay.
Actually, along those lines, I don't need much more. I think there are a lot of accelerators now, it seems.
Yeah.
It's more and more popular. So a little bit of what is the landscape of accelerators? What do some do that others don't do? How are they different? Are they all the same? Some just kind of like what's going on in the acceleration world?
Okay, that sounds good. We can do like just an overview map of the accelerator world. What else? Yes.
How is the entrepreneurship culture different on the East Coast and West Coast? Just from
Well,
my background.
I know on the East Bay versus West Bay, but yeah. But are you from the East Coast?
I am.
Okay. Well, if you're from the East Coast, I can hold the West Coast flag and tell you what it's like, and project on how I view the East Coast. But
okay.
you probably know it better than I directly. Okay, that's great. Do a few final ones. No risk, no return in entrepreneurship. You have that question. Like, should I ask it? If you ask it, I can address it. Yes.
In terms of accelerators, it seems like there's some that are focused on a given space versus more multifaceted, and the value of going with one in the industry you're targeting versus one that's more broad-based in their approach.
Good.
And you have
Okay.
one question on that side.
Yep.
From the investor's perspective, what is the ratio between hard facts and selling the vision as an entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay. Okay, that's enough.
We're passing our whole half hour.
Okay, sorry. Well, I'm not going to answer this question. We're going to break now, and we'll reconvene in how much time do they have?
What I would say is I got to stretch it a little bit, so why don't you come back at about 5 after 1. And just by the way, Persona is still back here, and if you want contact information from him or follow up, he's got cards and so forth so that you can keep dialogue. Okay?
Okay, thanks, guys.